Hi, welcome back to Ladies Talk. We're having the discussion about young people today, and our very special guest, Mark Prince. We're going to continue the debate, Mark, because it seems so unfair to do this in a small way. Yeah. We were talking about the government, we're talking about how children see themselves, lack of hope, and where their future, lies. Yeah. But parenting, my parents knew where I was. My parents gave me boundaries. There are some parents, and we have to be honest, who don't know where their children are. They're failing.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you one of the main things nobody likes to mention is we don't teach our kids about the spiritual aspect. We're flesh and spirit. Kids don't know about they've got a creator. We've left that out of the system. So what we have is kids that don't know the value of life. Because we grew up, when parents sent us to church, we might not have liked it, but we learned certain fundamental principles. Yeah. And we knew that we weren't going to go up to a man and stab him, because then there's a danger of him dying and hurting, and we valued life to a certain, in a certain level, so we weren't doing that. So them things wasn't happening. These guys don't have no foundation. And even parents are focused more on equipping out the bedroom with the latest gadgets, the latest TV, all the things that can be gotten, and the stuff that their kids pressure them to get, than being parents and ensuring that the treasures that you need is the qualities of a good character to go out into the community and add to your community in a positive way. Not having all these things, because the kids I speak to, the way they're on about is money. I ain't got no money. What are you talking about? There ain't no bills in your name. What do you need money for?
Absolutely.
That's for your parents. Enjoy this time when your parents have that responsibility and you don't have any. Your responsibility is try to learn, listen, be obedient and grow. And add to what you have from what you're listening to from the elders and your grown-ups.
But how do you sense that now? You've already bought the trainers, you've got this flat screen on their bedroom, and you've got all those things because you're busy trying to survive. There's parents out there who are single homes trying to do it all. And it is very hard to be concentrated on where your children are. You know you've sent them to school, but tomorrow you get a phone call saying that they've stabbed somebody up and they're now up for murder.
But I think as well, and I get it, but I think sometimes, you know, the parents aren't accountable. The children, they're not letting their children be accountable. I hear parents sometimes say, oh, that's the way she is. Yeah. That's how they are. Yeah. All right. And I know in our days, that would never have happened. So the healing is for the children and the parents.
And also a lot of parents, they don't know how to be parents. They're young, they're dysfunctional, so they're learning by mistakes, trial and error.
But you know, the thing is, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah. Yes, hurt people.
And right now, what you've got is a generation that has been hurt and hasn't been told how to parent. Because remember, we were just do this, do that, do that. That's not the same as teaching.
No.
So when you have children now and your children are going to school, you hope it all works out. There's a lot of fingers crossed things going on. I work with young girls, I work with young boys, and I tell you this now, half their parents do not know what their children are up to.
They're clueless, but they need to make it their business to know.
Right.
Last night I got a phone call. Last night I got a phone call from a friend who said they found knives with their younger brother. I said, you need to have a conversation. Take it away. If they're carrying a knife, there's a problem. They're fearful. They feel they have to protect themselves. Something is happening. There'd be more signs before they got to the knife debate. You know, you need to be involved in your children's lives. Go through their rooms and have a relationship. Build
Look through their phones. Do things.
Turn off the phone. Take them. Why is your youth on the phone at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? They got school at 6 and 7 in the morning. What's going on there?
Because a lot of the parents
but I think sometimes parents are scared.
They're scared. They don't want to find out. And then that's a bigger problem then, isn't it?
They're scared to say, put this down. They don't want the youth to kick off. The youths are in charge now.
Yeah.
And
but
that's
they
the
made
truth.
it that
and
way.
they know that.
The youths are in charge, and it's messed up the whole system. Because you can't have young kids in charge, and the kids know this.
So we had tough love. Remember, I remember my parents used to say, listen, two people can't live. Two people can't rule this house. You know, 2 women can't run this house. There's only one leader, and you go, okay, because you'd have to stay.
And as I said, it's about respect, because even if you argued with your parents in the past, you wouldn't even dream about putting your hand on them or getting up in their face or another elder. But now, this is what you see on EastEnders, this is what you see in Corrie. This is the norm, it's become society's norm.
It's not society. we don't have to adhere to society. This is the problem that we're having, is that we're thinking, well, you can't beat your children, you can't do this. And we understand why you can't beat your children, we get that. But you can still raise them, and you have to. Because if you don't raise them, somebody else is going to raise them.
We need to start focusing and looking out for young people. Now, this is how you do it. You need to use the individuals that have seen it, done it, lived it. Individuals like me. It's all well and good setting up a system, probation, yachts, all these things, and everyone's got degrees and paperwork, but you know nothing about the streets. It's like bringing policemen from Kent and from all these faraway country areas coming into London, and they see black men, but they're not living around them. So how are you going to deal with them? You're going to have racism, because they're not used to no black men. They just paint them all with the same brush. So they're not linking with us, and in that same way, we need to have individuals that know London, that know the young kids in London and how to function with them. People like me, there's other guys in the areas that know how to connect with young people, and there's a structure that I've been talking about that they need to set up. Here's what I've been telling them. You guys ain't serious about making this change. You don't want change. Here's how I know this. You have invested how much money into a system to change individuals into killers. You call it the army. They go out, you train them up, you change their mindset, kill, shoot, people you've never met, cool, you call it war, whatever you want to call it, and defending your country, you give them badges. Fine, I ain't got no beef with that, but if you can invest money to set someone's mind who's just ordinary Joe Blogs into killing someone, why can't you invest money to change someone's mind who's a bit wayward, he ain't been brought up right, he's young, he's troubled, and you put in enough money to invest to set him straight?
Absolutely.
I don't see the money being set up and a structure and an organisation under a roof that says this is what we bring all our wayward kids, because we're going to have a structure to discipline them like we discipline the army boys to go out and kill. We can discipline these boys to care for people and look out for them because we're sending them out in the community. We're not sending them out in the army to kill. In our community, we want caring people. So this is how we do it.
Okay.
And the way you do it is with the right individuals that have been there, know the rules, worn the T-shirt, and they can connect and engage with
also, I'd like to add to that is family. Family has a very strong point, and I think that we all need to go back for our nieces and our nephews and the broken families and the sibling rivalry that's gone on in our history that has broken up the family. Go back and fix that. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Can I mention something?
Very quickly.
I have done all this work in the charity and haven't been able to break through really. For whatever reason, I'm not going to talk about it. So I've gone back into what I used to do, to be a professional boxer, to keep myself in the spotlight, to get the profile, to raise the money, to do what I just spoke about, to raise an organisation that is going to do just that. Care about our young people, and young people know when you come in this building, like when guys go in the army, they don't come out the same. When you come through this building, these doors, you ain't coming out the same. We're going to be healing you, looking after you, whatever resources we need to do, go through that process. We're going to be patient, love you, work with you, train you, whether it's boxing, business, whatever we need to do, stick with you. So when you come out, you're going to be a different individual. I have to now do this at 44, get myself in phenomenal shape to go out there, challenge young guys who just started out like I used to how many years ago, and I've got to stop them, knock them out, be the man, keep myself in the spotlight just to make sure my charity goes through, continue inspiring young people and letting them know, don't give up on this thing. I really am inspired. We never know why things happen, but when they do happen, when you can turn it into something so positive, I hope that there is somebody that will reach out and help you to do what you're doing. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go to the streets of London to find out exactly what you felt about the debate that we've been having on the show with Ramel London. Okay, she's on the streets too.
I give you love, baby, not romance. I make a move, nothing left to chance. So don't you get fresh with me.
Hey, it's Ramel London on the streets of London for Ladies Talk, and I've come to Brixton to ask the people what they think about violence amongst young people, dating outside of your race, and also, would you put your parents in a home? Let's see what they have to say. Hello, thank you for stopping and giving us your time. So we are talking today violence amongst young people. What do you think is the main catalyst, and is there a way to stop it?
Mainly violence amongst young people. What I know from having a 15-year-old daughter myself is through things that they want that they can't have.
I've got 18-year-old and he's doing a lot of positive things as well as his friends. He's been on projects. There's a project called Origin, which what they do is they mentor boys that are from 13 to 17 and they groom them from from boyhood to manhood.
Up the road we used to have 3 youth centres and we'd be working in it right now, where these kids now are just walking around Brixton doing nothing. But they're not all trouble. They're actually nice kids if people speak to them. They are, really.
Have you ever considered dating outside of your race? Hell no. Why is that? That's just not how I was brought up, and that's not my beliefs. I believe that each should stick to their own. If we all intermingled, and then there wouldn't be any black people. There wouldn't be any white. Do you know what I mean? But that's just my particular views. I believe that we should stick to your own.
I mean, I don't have a problem dating whoever, really. Yeah.
So, do you know if your parents ever had any trouble about being an interracial couple?
Definitely. I mean, they was together, I mean, a long time ago, and during that time it was a really racist period and people just stuck to their race. So what they did was rather brave, but I mean, now everybody's mixing, and I like to see that, yeah.
I'm in a mixed relationship myself. We just keep ourselves to ourselves, and I'm happy in the relationship. I'll leave it like that.
No troubles for you?
No troubles for me, no. I just get on with my life and that's it.
Would you ever consider putting your elderly family members or parents in a home?
Oh. Again, I think that's a westernised way.
No. Why not? Well, because it'd be my mum and dad, isn't it? So no, I wouldn't, no. I'd look after them. They're not here, both of them now. But if they was, and they was poorly, they'd live with me.
I worked in a care home for 5 years, and I must say it's something that I would never, ever do. Wow. Never.
Why is that?
Because they just don't get the care. I mean, I've got experience. I've worked in care homes. I see what goes on, and it's not a loving environment. They literally, don't get me wrong, they're fed, but there's no love, if you know what I mean. It's just their physical needs are taken care of, but nothing else.
Thank you, Ramel, on the streets of London and also in the studio.
Yeah.
Wow, what a reaction.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people had a lot of things to say, so it felt positive.
Absolutely, fantastic. When we come back after the break, we're going to be having the men's talk section, so we'll find out what you men have been talking about on the subjects that we've been discussing today, and also elderly parents. Elderly parents, will you put your parents in a home? When we come back.